Hi guys, don't know if you know this, but in folklore, corgis are actually fairy dogs. So fairies essentially ride corgis into battle. So I don't really know what that says about the Queen. I'm not saying that she is a fairy, but I'm also not going to say that she's not a fairy. Or the dark alternative is that she's destroyed all of the fairies and collected their battle steeds.
Really weird things caught on security cameras that will absolutely blow your mind. This right here is the Sacramento Nightwalker. It has two really tall legs and a small little head. It's been captured multiple times in Sacramento. This van hits what seemingly is an invisible force, flies backwards, and flips over. This one's really crazy too because we don't know if it's an alien or Dolby, but it definitely doesn't look human. Follow for more fun, you guys.
Did you know that the Welsh have an entire system of folk herbal healing? But that's not even the most interesting part about Welsh folk medicine. Apparently, the Welsh learnt all their herbal healing remedies from a fairy. According to the legend of Van Vach, the physicians of Myddfai, the original herbal healers of Wales, were the descendants of a fairy woman. If you want to hear more about this legend, just Google the legend of Van Vach. But the basic premise of the story is that a mortal man married a fairy woman from the otherworld, and the only rules of the marriage was that he was not allowed to hit her 3 times. And spoiler alert, he did hit her 3 times. And so she went back to her fairy realm. But they'd already had children by then. But the fairy mother didn't abandon her children. She taught them the secrets of herbal healing.
Here's some more backstory for the Quiet Room Bears. So by now you know that the Quiet Room is a room inside a mental hospital that closed down years ago. The Quiet Room itself is an entity. Inmates get put in the Quiet Room and it drives them crazier than they already are. They hack themselves to pieces and pour their blood and their madness into a new bear, creating a new Quiet Room Bear. Which at some point in time someone else will find that bear, it'll drive them crazy, they'll create a new Quiet Room Bear and the cycle continues. But the hospital, and especially the room, existed long before the first bear got made there. The room has influence over everyone in the hospital, and people would get brought into the room and they would just tear themselves to pieces, and that would be that. The power and the evil of the room pretty much just stayed in the room and kind of in the hospital. But at one point, randomly an inmate just happened to bring a teddy bear with them in the room. They pulled themselves apart and put it into the bear. The hospital staff then brought the person and the bear out of the room. Once the bear left the room, the Quiet Room knew its reach could leave the building now, and the Quiet Room Bears were born.
Did you know that compared to England and most of Europe, Wales was left virtually untouched by the witch craze? Yes, you heard that right. Compared to England and most of Europe, Wales virtually killed no witches. Now, that's not to say that there were no witch hunts in Wales. There definitely were, but they were much smaller and less than the ones in England and most of Europe. So why was this? Now, there's 2 leading theories spoken about by historians Richard Suckett and Ronald Hutton. The first theory has to do with fairies. Basically, the belief in fairies was so big in Wales that if things were to go wrong, people were more inclined to blame fairies than witches. The next theory has to do with the fact that magic already existed within Welsh communities. Welsh communities already had magic, and yes, it could do harm, but it could also do good. Wales had virtually no concept of the witch practicing malevolent magic. The same can be said for many parts of Ireland, as well as the Highlands of Scotland. Follow for more!
So I log into VR chat and my full body tracking gets completely scuffed, and I wonder why. So I check the Kinect cam, and I think there's a ghost in my chair. Grandma? Is that you? Are you visiting me from beyond? Is that you? It's nice to see you again. You know, I always thought my basement was haunted by a friendly spirit. So, not really haunted, but like, I think I just confirmed it.
It's room 209. Amy says nobody's checked into that room, and there's reports of screaming coming from that room. Amy, he's on his way down there right now. What's going on, John? There's no one checked into that room. There should be nobody in there. Wait 1 second, John. Amy, are you there? John says he hears the screaming coming from that room, and I hear it too. But we're sure that no one's checked into that room, correct? John, just wait. We're gonna get a hold of the police.
These are supposed to be some of the most verified images of giants. There's a part of history that just is not being told. Hieroglyphics in Egypt showing massive human-like entities.
There's a giant footprint in granite in South Africa.
It's about as tall as you are, 6 foot tall, a footprint.
Look at this. There's the big toe and the other 4 toes down to the small toe, down to the heel. What's fascinating about this is this piece sticking out here. It's like when you put your foot in mud and you pull it out, your toes will lift up a little mud.
That's got to be the foot of a 20 to 40 foot creature.
I'm getting out of here. Oh shit, Danny. Danny. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god! Wow! Oh! Holy crap, man! Oh god! Holy shit, that was a toilet! That was a freaking toilet, bro!
I want to talk about one of my favorite pieces of Celtic folklore. The Selkie! I love Selkies. So what is a Selkie? Pretty much they are a seal that when they come up on land can take off their coats and reveal themselves to be beautiful women. There are many a tale of a man seeing a Selkie and falling in love with her and taking her coat so she can't go back to the water. However, if a Selkie finds her coat, she's going back to the water. Doesn't matter if she loves the dude, doesn't matter if they have kids or a family, she's going back. There are actually 2 amazing movies that deal with the Selkie that I would suggest to you, and if you know any, leave them in the comments. The first is Song of the Sea. I am a sucker for animation, and this movie is beautiful and the music is gorgeous and it makes me cry. The second is The Secret of Rowan Inish. This movie has a special place in my heart because it was the first time I heard the term Black Irish, and I got really excited and I turned around to my grandparents and I was like, that's me! That's me! Not fully comprehending that they were just talking about, you know, Irish people with dark hair and eyes. But yeah, go stand the Selkie.
Yo, what's up? These are some of the strangest things that have yet to be explained. Part 1. Death in a past life. In Golan City, on the border of Syria and Israel, a 3-year-old boy claimed that he was murdered in his past life. The boy said he was murdered by an axe, and he even managed to bring local elders to the exact spot of where he was murdered. The elders then decided to take it upon themselves and dig up whatever they thought this boy was talking about. As they began digging, they saw what the boy was trying to show them all along. They ended up finding the murdered 3-year-old's body and the axe that was used to kill him buried right beside him. As they were standing there in awe, they asked the young boy if he had remembered the killer's name that had committed the crime. The boy then recited the killer's name, and the elders decided to track down whoever this killer was and get to the bottom of it. They then found the address, and when they got to the home, they continuously asked the killer many questions. After numerous weeks of questioning, the killer finally committed to his crime, and how the boy knew this is still a mystery until this day.
Here are some unexplainable photos, part 2. In August of the year 1997, members of the Russell family visited their grandmother in the home where she was living. They were later surprised to discover that in the background of this photo they took of her, their grandfather appeared behind her, but he had died 3 years earlier. Nicknamed the Black Knight, this mysterious space-like object right here has been spotted following an unusual polar orbit. When the drama of John F. Kennedy's assassination unfolded in Dallas November 22nd, 1963, this unknown woman right here was there and filmed the whole thing. But the FBI was never able to locate her. Why was she recording everything and where did she go? This photo shows British war workers escape to the seaside. This photo was taken in September 1943.
But in the middle of the photo right here, this guy looks like he's on a cell phone. Pretty cool.
Honestly, when it comes to creepy horses, the Scottish just go ham. Like, I'll cover Kelpies another day, but for now, let's talk about the Nuckelavee. Ugh. I feel like as I live nowhere near Scotland, I can utter its horrifying name and, you know, not feel like I'm about to die. If I go missing, then you know why. The Nuckelavee, as you can see, is a disgusting, skinned centaur type creature, but also not. So it encompasses a skinned horse and the torso and long spindly arms of a humanoid. It drags its long arms behind it and basically is just not up to any good. It's theorised that it stems from Scandinavian mythology. Its breath kills crops, it causes storms, epidemics. It's basically just a horrible thing to have around. Probably should have made this video in summer because it doesn't come out in the summer months, only in the winter months. Very nasty.